Hi, Sadis. How are you doing? Welcome to Nara. Same awesome Nara. I hope you are doing great. So, on still the topic of Stephen Bannon talking about Donald Trump coming back to run for third term. And you and I know it's actually against the law. But then, why I am also saying that this might actually not be true, right? But I am asking who actually gave Stephen Bannon the right to go on camera or on air to talk about this or to say that he needs to finish what he started. What did he start and what is he finishing? Because is it the hunger that he really wants everybody's bones to be showing? Because at this point, I don't understand what he started that he needs to finish. This was how Project 2025 started, like a rumor. From being a rumor, it actually became reality because you and I can actually say the reality already that everything that has been playing on, it's from Project 2025. So I really do want to know. Now, I am going to say this. White people, you all really need to wear your marathon boots. Why? Because you all made it happen. I see some of you coming out to apologize, some of you saying that this is not what you voted for. You cannot tell me that that you had another idea of how this government was going to play out, because this is exactly what you voted for and everybody is experiencing it, even the ones that did not support this administration. Let's get into this video.
Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence.
There's a reason that fascist regimes always lock into the dominant religion of the country and start to use religious language and image and symbols. And James Tallarico said it best, because there's nothing more dangerous than a tyrant who believes that they're on a mission from God. And if we look at both church history and world history, people have used the certainty of God being on my side as an excuse to exterminate their enemies. When the Trinitarians took over the Christian doctrine at the Council of Nicaea, deciding that the Trinity would be the new belief for the Christian religion as a whole, they use it as an excuse not to just define Arianist beliefs and Gnostic beliefs as heresy, but to actually physically kill them. Because when you believe that your mission is of God, or you can convince people that it is, it gives you the excuse to say, well, if you don't support me, then you're against God. Therefore, I have the right to enact violence against you, which is what we saw with all of the inquisitions. We have to understand that they are planning to overthrow the Constitution. They are planning to completely negate it. They are planning to use emergency powers to disrupt the elections because they know they cannot continue to win fairly. They have been open and honest about this, and we should absolutely believe them. And it's important to note that after the Reichstag fire in Germany, Hitler used emergency powers to suspend civil liberties, the freedom of the press, the freedom to protest, and things like due process. It allowed for indefinite detention without being charged of an offense. And they were able to use those emergency powers to proclaim that they were trying to save the country, save elections, protect law and order, even though many historians argue that the Nazis started the Reichstag fire. But they used Article 48 within the Weimar Constitution to enact these emergency powers, which allowed them to take rights away from the people. And by the time the 1933 election showed up, there was no free and fair elections. It was manipulated by fear and propaganda, and Hitler had complete control of the entire government. And because of the Enabling Act, was able to pass laws without Parliament, without any other steps than the fact that he and his cohorts wanted to pass it. Do not allow yourself to fall into the trap that the right is stupid. Some of them are heavily indoctrinated, but their leadership in particular is not stupid. They are smart. They are calculated. And while we have allowed ourselves to get baited into culture wars, while we have allowed ourselves to get baited into distractions, they have been laser focused, and they've been able to overturn Roe and remove equal opportunity in the workforce and education. They've been able to start to build the fascist world that they want to live in. They've been able to take rights away from women, civil rights, gutting the Civil Rights Act, and now they're coming for the Constitution. Understand that they are telling you exactly who they are, and they are efficient enough to get it done. If we want to be activists and we want to fight back and we want to turn this ship around, buckle up for the long haul. This is going to take years and decades of correction to fix. Do not make the mistake of believing that your enemy is stupid, because
I always remember my mentor Ebony years ago making the clear point that this shit is a marathon, right? And my encouragement and challenge to other white people is, don't stop. We can't stop. And I think the part that a lot of white people are experiencing right now, and Royal Star talks about this, right? He says the pressure you are feeling is not from Black, Indigenous people of color, but from other white people, right? So really, it's fucking white fatigue. And the pressure will continue to increase, right? It will become more popular in the majority of white people to address what the fuck is going on. Who fucking cares? Do it anyways. They will have constant arguments. They will not operate in logic. They will not operate in the reality of what's happening. We will, and we'll keep doing it. And we'll keep pushing back, and we'll keep challenging other white people. And the other thing is, the small, like the very kind of like pinch of what feels like pressure drives a lot of white people away. And part of this work is being open to critique. It's being open to being wrong. We have to be wrong. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And we are going to fuck up. We're going to make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes. My ass has been called on the floor. But you can't give up. What the fuck? Now is not the time to give up. We are listening to, paying, supporting Black, Indigenous people of color, immigrant families that are choosing to educate us right now. Because they sure as fuck don't owe us shit. You're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to feel like I can't do anything right. You're going to feel like, oh, I feel like I need kudos for doing the bare fucking minimum. And we don't. And we don't deserve it. We are being called to show basic human empathy. The bar is in fucking hell right now. But because white supremacist violence has been so normalized, it feels like a massive lift to operate in that humanity and in that empathy. And that's embarrassing as fuck for us as white people. Because what do you mean you don't want to speak up and say, hey, I don't support people ICE kidnapping people and taking them to concentration camps? What do you mean you're scared to lose your job because you want to say free Palestine? What do you mean that you're scared that you'll get disowned by your family because you recognize the fucking Klan shit that is going on right now? Push through it. Push through it. You can't do it alone. That's part of the individualism that comes along with white supremacy. Find other white people that give a fuck and start growing together and start healing together. Do not waste your time trying to argue with Trump supporters, trying to logic with Trump supporters. Use your empathy in a productive way. I'm not saying don't have conversations. I'm not saying don't try to push back and help them get the fuck out of there. But choose your humanity. Choose empathy. Choose sacrifice. Keep going. If you're tired, if your shoes are worn out, go get a new fucking pair and get back on the road. A marathon is ran individually and simultaneously together as a fucking group. And in order to get across the fucking finish line, white people, we're going to have to drag each other, kicking and screaming, scared, angry, sad, so we can keep fucking going. And there is no finish line. We just have to keep going.
United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I will never forgive, I will never forget, and I will continue to fight. Not her, not my friend. Steve. Steve Bannon is everything that is wrong with American politics today. Everything. In one little neat package. Steve Bannon is everything that is wrong with politics today. Everything. And he wants us to believe that Donald Trump will be president in 28 and that we need him to be. I never, ever, ever want to hear the both sides argument ever again. I don't ever want to hear it again. In fact, I'm encouraging you not to say it to me. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say it to me. Because there's never been a Democratic president that's ever said that. ever. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected 3 times and would have been elected a 4th, which is why the 25th Amendment exists, so that we do not have that. No, America does not need Donald Trump in the White House to finish what he started. He's made enough of a fucking destructive mess as it is, and quite frankly, we don't want him to do any more. I never want to hear both sides of the same. That both sides argument is lazy, given to you by people who refuse to do the work and refuse to even acknowledge the fact that one side is lazy, the other side is crazy. No. No. If you need a motivator, if you need a motivation to get off your ass and get deep involved in politics, he just gave you one. He just gave you one. I want you to think about this for just a second. You sit on your hands once again. You talk both sides once again. You vote for that election cicada bitch, Jill Stein, once again. Imagine what's going on and has been going on since January 20th of this year. Magnify that by 8 years, or multiply that by 8 years. Can you risk that? Can you risk that? Can you risk having this hellscape that we're all living in right now happen for 8 years? This is the time that if you consider yourself to be a conservative Republican, this is the time you take your goddamn party back. This is the time you do that. This is the time you put your foot down and say, enough. Enough. This is when you get involved in the party apparatus. This is when you start to call out the party apparatus for doing absolutely nothing because they get a couple of judges. This is when you start saying, nah, not here. Nope. Now, right now is when you do that. This is where if you consider yourself in any part of the left, you shut up and mobilize. You stop talking about it. You stop talking about what the Democrats should be able to do for you, and you start telling the Democrats what to do. This is where you're no longer an independent. You're either on the side of the people in the Constitution, or you're on the side of the Christian nationalists, the fascists, and an old, decrepit man running your country for 8 years and continuing to do what you see right now. This is the time that you take your power back. Now. You do not wait. You take your power back. You see, ladies and gentlemen, for this experiment that is called the United States of America to ever flourish, we have to let go of this idea that it's all white, which means it's all right. We have to stop religious fundamentalism from becoming law in our country. And it is time to say outright and openly to all those little secret Christian organizations, either you're going to be taxed until you shut up, or we're going to find a way to put you out in the open to shut you up. This is the time you stop feeding the maw of the business class and the corporations. I shouldn't have to worry about who owns my news division if my news division is telling me the who, what, where, when, why, and how. It is the time that you have those uncomfortable conversations at your Thanksgiving tables and your Christmas tables with your family who seem to think this is perfectly okay. This is the time that you say, no, there's nothing okay about this, and I do not support it. This is the time you start listening to people who have more of a plan than you do. And it doesn't matter if that face is black or trans. It doesn't matter. You shut up if you do not know, and you listen. Because these people are doing this out in the open. Steve Bannon can only say that because he realizes some of you are going to sit on your hands and do nothing. But you'll get to bitch, moan, and complain about how bad it gets. No. Y'all have played politics on a screen. United States politics is a combat sport. You got to get in. You got to get punched in your mouth. You got to lose a tooth or two. You got to get one of your eyes swelled up, but you got to throw punches. You got to fight your ass off. Some of you are afraid to do so, and you want to blame it on everyone else except for your inability to be a boss rather than a bitch. I need you to understand this is the plan. They're going to continue to prop up this decrepit ass man until they get everything that they want. Who's to say he won't get another term after that? 16 years. How about that? It's got to be like Roosevelt, right? No. We cannot continue to wish for a better America. We got to fucking start standing up for it. We got to start looking at all those people with those dumbass red MAGA hats and telling them, you are trying to shred the Constitution with your fucking obsession with this man. You need to sit down and be quiet. We are talking about the loudest 30% of the population ever. And they have morphed from the Tea Party to the birthers, from the birthers to MAGA, from MAGA to this thing. And you've been afraid. You didn't want to believe. It's time for you to start living in reality. You want a country, or do you want a dictatorship? You want freedom and liberty for real, or do you want freedom and liberty words? Do you like democracy? Or are you too stupid to understand that it is a republic if you can keep it? Which was said by one of the founding fathers, that would be Benjamin Franklin. It is time for us to take those wedge issues and shove them up the ass of the people that gave them to us in the first place. Keeping trans women out of sports isn't going to stop that motherfucker from trying to put Donald Trump back in the White House for a third term. And finally, and more importantly, it is time for you to use your voice. I don't care how small your platform is. I don't. It is time for you to start using your voice. What you don't understand, what you do not see, is what these people are about to do. This isn't scare tactics. This isn't fear-mongering. This is real. Steve Bannon said that out loud in front of a camera and a microphone where people can see and hear him. And Donald Trump is listening. That's why he's talking about a third term. When he said finish what we started, he means shredding democracy. The question now becomes, you gonna fight or you gonna run? If you scared, say you scared. If you pussy, say you pussy. But if you're not, it's time to get up. It's time to fight.
This is all I got from this video. This is all I got from this video. And I am also going to ask, because I remember I have seen these videos before about Stephen Bannon talking about this man coming out for a third term. And I am going to ask, what actually gave Stephen Bannon the audacity to come out to talk about him coming for a third term? Because there must be something that made him come out on camera to say that. You know why I'm saying this? I am just reflecting because I remember how Project 2025 started. It started like joke. It started like play. It started like rumor. And before we know what it's going on, the rumor started spreading. And before we know what's going on, we saw it on a paper. It was on a paper, right? And then before we know what's going on, he became the president and we started saying Project 2025. So who actually told him to come out on camera to say that, because sometimes there must there must be an atom of truth in some rumors. Though it is actually against the law to contest for third term. Yes, but you and I know already that he has actually broken so many laws. Laws are like nothing to him. But I am still saying, I am not saying that he is running, But I hope this is not true. One thing I am going to say is that white people really do have a whole lot of job to do, because at this point in time, it is already their job. It is their job to stand at the forefront, wear your marathon boots, stand out, do what is right, do what you are supposed to do. I see seeing some videos from some of you coming out to apologize, saying that you deceived, or actually you did deceive other people. But you guys never ever accept or agree that you guys are wrong, or you guys never accept that what is going on with this administration is very wrong, because so far it's really been hectic for everybody. Some of you are still lying about it. Majority of you are saying this is what you voted for. I don't know how somebody will wake up to say something like that with everything going on with the way economy and all that is so far. You are still justifying this man's inability, because there is no inability to take care of the government that has been handed over, the government, the citizen, and everybody that has been handed over to him. I feel like he is not competent, because so far I've been seeing other governments come in, do what they can do, and also do what they cannot do and leave. But it's not this chaos. This particular administration is very chaotic. And you can also feel it. Your wallet is also telling you, just that some people some of them are very scared, or to come out to tell you how bad it is going for them, because they don't want anybody to laugh at them and all that. But you and I know it's really pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I will draw my curtain here. Everybody have to really wear their marathon boot. But white people, this is actually your time to come out and do what you are supposed to do. Bye for now.